we are going to do a series of videos, and I'm going to try to do them for every chapter. And so this one's going to be on chapter 2. If we take a look at our reading schedule, just so we kind of understand how that works as well, if I go back to that, the reading schedule is to highlight the sections that we are going to cover. So if you take a look, this one, notice section 2.4 isn't listed here, so that's going to be a section that is not emphasized as much. But if the section is here, it's basically going to be one that we are going to cover. We have talked about several of these things in class, but I am going to go ahead and use the PowerPoint slides to guide us through and introduce us to maybe things that we haven't talked about, and also to cover topics that maybe just hearing it again will help. Okay, so this is section 2.1, and it's basically the parts of a C++ program, and we have talked about these. I have not emphasized comments, however, and so a comment, you can use these two forward slashes to create a comment in your code. A preprocessor directive uses the pound include statement and the angle brackets. Our using namespace is telling us that's the standard namespace that we are going to use. And every function or every program in C++ has a main. That's where the compiler looks to go to start the code for execution. And then these curly braces indicate or enclose blocks of code. So every time you have a block, you have to have a beginning brace and an ending brace. And then we have our output statement and a return 0. If we look back at our notes, one of the things that I will point out is that the less than is the stream insertion operator. And if we look at that code, that's what we're using here for cout. And so when you have the less than operator there, we are actually using that in order to do a cout statement. And then we have just started to work on cin, and that will use a stream extraction operator. So the reason it's called a stream is that it's a stream of characters. So it's a word stream, basically, is what they're referring to. It's anything input from the keyboard is called a stream of data. And then we are inserting it into the console. And so that's why this one, the cout, inserts that stream of data to the console, and a cin gets the stream or extracts the stream from the console. Continuing with the PowerPoint, they just outline another way to show every single line of code here. And again, they're demonstrating that cout is used for output statements. We've talked about most of these special characters. They are in your textbook. They're in the PowerPoint slide. You can look at them again if you want. C++ by now you should have learned is case sensitive, so it does matter if it's uppercase versus lowercase. And again, every beginning curly brace must have an ending curly brace. So when we work with these curly braces, if you have a beginning curly brace, you need to have an ending one. You have already worked with the cout statement. The only thing I will probably mention about cout statements here is when you are working with them and you are working with the operators when you're trying to output something and you want to do an end of line. For example, right here, this will cout, and it'll cout the sum of x plus y is equal to some number, but then oftentimes we want to put in an end of line, and if you want to use the escape sequences to do that, you have to put them inside quotes. So if I add another stream extraction or insertion operator here and then the backward /n, that's using an escape sequence, then it's going to hit a new line. And if I were to type any words after that, this is on a new line, for example, and we execute, that second phrase should show up on a second line. This is on a new line, so you can see how it shows up on a new line. Wrapping up section 2 and 3, ENDL is another way to do a new line. That is an L, not a 1. It does not have to have quotes because it is not an escape sequence. We talked about the escape sequences in your book, so one you will use the most often are /n and /t for tab and new line. Some of the other ones you might use, but not usually. The pound include directive, we've talked about that in our previous videos. It is the tells what will be put into the preprocessor. Okay, actually I think I'm going to stop this video and we'll pick up here with the next one.